So we've told you that the NATO is provoking Russia, provoked this conflict in Ukraine. It's not anything like you've been told on the corporate news media. Go look at our video for what they're not telling you about the Ukraine war, and you'll see what they're not telling you. But what we've been telling people is that they're a nuclear power, and we shouldn't be doing this. This is unbelievably reckless. And if Trump was doing this, people would be going crazy, as they should. But they're not, because it's Joe Biden and the Democrats and NATO. And now even the Wall Street Journal is urging nuclear war. You think I'm kidding? Look at this headline. The U.S. should show it can win a nuclear war. That's in the Wall Street Journal. That's still up. That was from April 27th. Or April 29th. Let me look.
27th.
April 27th by Seth Cropsey. He gets to write an opinion piece over at the Wall Street Journal. I don't know who the hell that guy is, but apparently.
Yeah, I found him in the sheets.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I looked him up.
Hey, oh, is it in here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Boy, I sure can't wait to see what winning a nuclear exchange looks like. Then we can gaze over our blasted hellscape of cannibal mutants. We can say, sure, it looks bad, but you should see the other guy. This is an opinion piece by Sean Cropsey. And who is Sean Cropsey? Well, he's an American neoconservative political figure and lobbyist, so that's how you know his opinions are valid and will lead to success at home and abroad. Here's what he says. The NATO conflict is also a war against, but the conflict is also a war against NATO. So he's just admitting this is a proxy war. He's just admitting it.
I like how, by the way, when we were watching Zelensky talk about, like, they weren't going to let Ukraine join NATO. They just want Russia to think they will.
Yes.
So this isn't even to let them be in NATO.
They're right.
Like, could you care less about them?
The conflict is also a war against NATO, given Ukraine's position as an applicant, NATO's military support for Ukraine, and NATO's willingness to embargo Russia products and cut off Russian energy. If Russia's military situation appears dire, Mr. Putin has a dual incentive to use nuclear weapons. This is consistent with public stated Russian military doctrine. A nuclear attack would present Ukraine with the same choice Japan faced in 1945. Surrender or be annihilated. Ukraine may not break. My God, I never thought of that. What if Russia is capable of the same shit that we are capable of? Wow. I don't think Japan is a great analogy, seeing as how no one knew what a nuke was until we dropped it on them. So that's
the other difference is, I guess it was after this story was written, but just last week, Russia unveiled their new Sarmat nuclear-capable missiles, which can't be stopped by any sort of Patriot battery or anti-missile defense system, regardless of whether they have a nuke on it or not. So we actually have less capable nukes than Russia. Not that anyone wins in a nuclear war, anyways.
The haunting images from Bucha, Irpin, and elsewhere demonstrate Russia's true intentions. Oh, the haunting images show Russia's true intentions? I knew it. Russian victory would lead to mass killings, deportation, rape, and other atrocities. Wow, I knew it. A Russian victory is going to lead to rape. I bet they already have Saddam Hussein-style rape rooms all set up with all kinds of victory decorations and balloons. Sick fucks, aren't they? Remember, that's exactly what we said about Saddam Hussein, that he had rape rooms. And what did we do? We went and we remodeled his rape rooms. we put in a hi-fi and some track lighting. The Ukrainian choice won't be between death and survival, but rather armed resistance and unarmed extermination. I like how they say a Russian victory would lead to mass killings, deportation, rape, and other atrocity. Other atrocities? What would other atrocities? Like, you mean a nuclear war? You mean a nuclear war that you're calling for? Nuclear use would require NATO to respond, but a nuclear response could trigger retaliation. This guy is going to tell you next, 2 + 2 = 4. And here's how you buckle your seatbelt. You take this end and you put it into that end. But a nuclear response could trigger retaliation, dragging Russia and NATO up the escalation ladder to a wider nuclear confrontation. So he's saying that if Russia used a nuke on Ukraine and we used a nuke on Russia, that could escalate the use of nukes. This guy is good. This guy, nothing gets past this guy. Perhaps a conventional response to a Russian nuclear attack would be sufficient. What if the U.S. and its allies destroyed Russian military units deployed in the Black Sea, Syria, and Libya, cut all oil pipelines to Russia, and used their economic clout to threaten China and other states conducting business with Russia with an embargo? What if? Each of these steps is necessary. But Russia's goal is going nuclear is to knock NATO out of the water. The Kremlin believes its resolve outstrips that of the USA. A conventional American response would confirm this and create incentives for additional Russian nuclear use. I thought this wasn't about NATO. It was because Putin wants to restore the Soviet Union and he's just blaming it on NATO. So what this guy is saying is that if he uses a nuke and we don't respond with a nuke, that's going to mean more nukes from Russia. So the way to stop him from nuking is for us to start nuking. That's what he's saying. So if we come back with a conventional response, he's going to start doing more nukes. That's what this maniac is writing in the Wall Street Journal.
Well, he starts trying to qualify it after that.
If Russia thinks that we're less crazy than they are, they're going to get more crazy. So we have to think batshit insane like I'm doing in this editorial. This isn't to say that the U.S. should use nuclear weapons. Oh, fuck, it is.
Wow.
I'm not saying we should use nukes. I'm just saying we shouldn't not use them, which is not the same thing. Again, a nuclear response would make global nuclear war more likely. No, again, this guy with his insights. You got to go to the Wall Street Journal op-ed page to get this. But America and its allies can take steps against Russia's nuclear arsenal that undermine the Russian position at higher escalation, blah, 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 blah. The U.S. Navy's surface ships, for example, they could be re-equipped with nuclear weapons, as they were during the Cold War. Most critically, if Russia used a nuclear weapon, the U.S. could use its naval power to hunt down and destroy a Russian nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine. Holy shit. The backbone of the Russian second strike capability. They're not... You want to go blow up a nuclear-armed submarine. You want to blow up their nuclear bomb on their nuclear submarine.
You know that quote from, I think it's Irving Kristol, Bill Kristol's dad, about, a neocon is just a liberal who's been mugged by reality, but not nuked ever.
The ability to win is the key. He's talking about nuclear war.
Can we ride the bomb down and wave a cowboy hat?
The ability to win is the key by arming surface ships with tactical nuclear weapons. I like how they put tactical in front of it. Oh, that's different. Tactical means usable? No. As well as attacking a nuclear missile sub and thus reducing Russian second strike ability, the U.S. undermines Russia's ability to fight a nuclear war. Hey, that's a great idea, Sean. Cropsy. That's a great idea. What if we also sneak a bunch of ICBMs onto Russia's borders and say they're grain silos? I bet that could create a kind of crisis, if you will. Well, that'll make us all safer.
He's saying we could keep it down to just taking one nuke, and
that's what he's saying. Just a couple of nukes here and there.
You're gonna get some nukes on you.
You're gonna get a little fallout. The Soviets were deeply afraid of preemptive strike by NATO. That fear has morphed under Mr. Putin's regime into a fixation on the color revolutions, pro-democracy uprisings in former Soviet republics. Jeopardizing Russian second strike capability would tangibly raise the military stakes. Mr. Putin could no longer unleash his nuclear arsenal with impunity. Instead, he would need to reckon with the possibility that NATO could decapitate the Kremlin. Yes, suffering casualties in the process, but still decapitated. Yes, we'd have a nuclear war.
Let's give Putin nothing to lose.
Yes.
Make him see there's only one way out.
So what this guy's saying is the nuclear war should never be fought, but the threat of it should always hang over our heads. Forever. Amen. A nuclear war should never be fought, but the Kremlin seems willing to fight one, at least a limited one. It sounds like you are too.
Yeah, not as much as you, buddy. Holy crap.
Right? No kidding. If the U.S. demonstrates it's unwilling to do so, the chance that the Kremlin will use nuclear weapons becomes dangerously real. So he's saying we have to be, it's the exact opposite of what we should be looking for a peace settlement. And what this guy's doing is, let's look for a way to ratchet things up and make sure Putin feels threatened and has nothing to lose. That's exactly what Kurt just said.
It sounds counterintuitive, but...
Sounds counter, yeah. Wow. Jackson, did you see this before? Have you covered this on your show?
I didn't. I'm just shocked. You know, these are the types of people who are reminding Joe Biden, like staffing the White House and reminding Joe Biden that he's president. These are those sorts of people. And then to just exhibit the political realignment in this country, Donald Trump is out there calling for a peace proposal between Ukraine and Russia. You know,
this guy's been there since with George W. Bush and like since before that. Like, you know, people talk about a deep state of these people that are still around for some reason. Like,
you mean the guy who wrote that? You mean the guy who wrote this? He's been around.
Yeah, and he was the head of the our propaganda broadcasting to other countries. I can't remember what they're called, something BIH or something like that.
I'm sure he's great friends. He's great friends with Nina Jankowicz, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're all friends. She's at the Woodrow Wilson Center, which I like. That's named after the president who brought the Klan back in a big way. He's going to monitor the racisms.
So there you go. Wall Street Journal. Don't worry about nuclear war. We can win it. Holy shit. We're doing live stand-up shows in Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Des Moines, Omaha, Kansas City, Las Vegas, all over the country. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a link for tickets. And single tickets now available at all venues. So if you tried to buy one before and you couldn't, single tickets are now available. Plus, while you're at jimmydorcomedy.com, why don't you become a premium member? Sign up to our mailing list so when they cancel us, we can still stay in touch.